Hello and welcome to another jewelry making video brought to you by keepsakecrafts.net and allfreejewelrymaking.com. Today we're going to be making this lovely, dainty, yet very simple crystal and wire wrap necklace. So to make this necklace you'll need some beads, and for this project I've chosen a strand of glass crystals, and you'll need some 22 gauge wire. When you're learning to wire wrap, it's a good idea to start with just craft wire. This is copper wire that has a coating on it to give it color, and you can buy it in many colors. You can get it in gold, you can get it colored in copper, or with other colors, black. And also you can add a patina later with some of the products that are out there on the market to get an even different look. But we're just going to stick with the silver 22 gauge wire, and I'm going to show you a technique for using the wire on a spool so that there's almost no waste whatsoever. For tools, you'll need a couple pairs of chain nose pliers. I like to have these little ones and also some larger ones, round nose pliers, and a pair of flush cut wire cutters. So to make your first wrap, the first thing you want to do is slide your bead onto your wire. Notice I didn't cut it off the spool. Next, grab the wire about an inch from the end with round nose pliers and make a loop. And you can actually make your entire loop. And it should look like this with the wires perpendicular to each other. So go ahead and hold on to that loop with your round nose pliers and put that in your non-dominant hand. I have it in my left hand. And then take that remaining wire. For this project I'm going to attempt to do neat wraps. And just wrap it around, keeping each wrap right next to the previous one. And you'll reach a point where it won't want to go any further. You can use your chain nose pliers and try to persuade that end. And when it ceases to behave, I like to bring in my wire cutters and just cut that little bit off. That is the only waste on this project, believe it or not. That's it, that little tiny bit. Next, you'll slide your bead down to meet the wraps. And then this is probably familiar to you. We've done this before. Hold on to the wire right where it comes out of the bead with chain nose pliers. Do a 90-degree bend. It's a little awkward working from the spool, but it's worth it to not be wasting really anything. Go ahead and hold on to that bend with your round nose pliers. Start a loop. So it looks like that. Reposition your round nose pliers. Finish the loop. And then do the wraps for this side. And it's actually a little easier to do the second side because you have something to hold on to, a little bit more length of wire. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is back that wire out because I've already told it where I want it to go, to curve. So I'm going to back it out a little, trim it, and then tuck that end in with my chain nose pliers. So I've gone ahead and made another, and I thought I would show you a few different ways that you can connect these links. The easiest, really, is to simply use jump rings. These are 5mm jump rings, but use whatever works for you. And let me remind you, the proper way to open a jump ring is to position the split at 12 o'clock, hold on to one side with a pair of chain nose pliers, grab the other side with another pair of chain nose pliers, push one away from you while you pull the other towards you, twisting it open like that. And then you can just slide on your two dangles. The important thing about using jump rings is that you must be sure, get in there. You must be sure that your jump ring is very securely closed. So you always want to look at it from a few different angles and make sure that there's no gap where the ends of the jump ring meet, so you know your bracelet or necklace isn't going to fall apart. So that's one way you can connect them. Another way that you can connect the links is to connect them to each other, which means you have to plan that in advance. If you're using jump rings, you can just keep making wrapped bead components and then just connect as many as you want with jump rings. But if you're going to connect them to each other with these wrap loops, it just takes a little prior planning. So you start the same way, slide your bead onto the wire. Go ahead and grab it about 1 inch from the end with your round nose pliers and make your loop. And then, before you start, go ahead and pop it on. And then at this point, it's probably easier to hold on to the loop with chain nose pliers. And it's a little tricky. You have to keep the this one that you slid on out of the way, but in the loop, so to speak. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to switch that to my other hand. And then go ahead and do the wrapping. Now you get the idea. It's a little awkward. It's easier to do if you're not trying to do it for a camera. But you do your wrap, slide your bead out, and then finish the wrap the way we did. And then you just keep doing that, connecting them all together. Let me finish this properly and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here I've gone ahead and attached these together. Truly, I promise you, it's easier to do this than I made it look. It was much easier once I was able to hold it at a good distance from my eyes so I could see what I was doing rather than doing it for a camera. But anyhow, that is another way that you can connect these together. And one last idea for connecting them together is to use small lengths or long lengths of chain. And I'm not in the mood for wrapping a million bajillion of these today, so I'm going to use lengths of chain. And it works the same way. Now, by the way, when you get done with the wire, after each one, it'll be a little bent. It won't be too bad, but it'll be a little bent because you're holding onto it to wrap around. And this is done the exact same way. Slide your bead onto your wire and find an end of the chain. And I suppose I'll cut off a piece. Oh, I guess the longer it is, it means the lazier I'm feeling today. Maybe I'll cut off like 1.5 inch long piece. And these links are so small, I'm not going to even try to break them apart and reuse the links. I'm just going to cut them. So this is done the same way as joining these together, except that you have chain in the middle, so it stretches your beads, which is nice if you have some kind of precious beads. Grab that at about 1 inch from the end with your round nose pliers, make your loop, slide an end of chain onto the loop, finish the wrap, slide the bead up, finish the wrap, and then this end can be fastened to another loop, and you keep going that way. So there are a few options for you depending on how much wire wrapping you feel like doing in one day, connecting them with jump rings, connecting them to each other, connecting them with chain to add a different look and also stretch your beads. So here's another look at our finished project. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you'll give it a try. Please be sure to check out keepsakecrafts.net for more jewelry and crafting ideas and inspiration. Thank you for watching.